This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Alright, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, so let me tell you what's going on for today. We got a couple of World Cup games to cover. We also got some games tomorrow to talk about. Alright. We also got Melo, who looks like he's going to be bought out from the Oklahoma City Thunder. What real value does he bring to a team, and where could he end up? Are my questions. So we'll be talking about that. We're going to talk about some teams over in the NFL, talk about what I liked about. I'm going to pick a few teams and talk about what I've liked about their offseason so far. And then for the fourth segment, as we always do, we will be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. Alright, that's how today's going to go. Friday show to take you over onto the weekend. Can't wait for it. But nonetheless, like I said, that's how today's going. Alright, so should we start off with Melo? I guess we might as well, right? So free agency, obviously it's been real exciting. Seemingly calmed down. Now we're going to see where all the second tier, third tier guys are going to go now. Alright, we got Kyle O'Quinn going to the Pacers. Also, we got Tony Parker going to the Charlotte Hornets. I don't understand that one. Okay. I mean, why do you make this move if you're Charlotte? I don't understand if it's Michael Jordan or whoever else, Mitch Kupchak, like who is running the show over there? All right. Like what direction are they trying to head in? Because this isn't a playoff team. All right. And if it is, it's a team that will get swept in the first round, whether it's against the Celtics or against the Sixers. Okay. I think personally that Charlotte needs to blow up the team and just start from scratch. Trade Kemba, trade everyone else. Okay. Because, I mean, you got rid of Dwight Howard. And that was a move that I say was a good one, considering the fact that Dwight doesn't necessarily seem to be the biggest team guy, all right, from what we've seen over the years. So I get that. And then you bring in Tony Parker, where Tony Parker should have never left the Spurs, if we're being honest here. Okay, Tony Parker is not that good anymore. Of course, he was a great point guard for the Spurs back when he was in his prime, but now it's just more so, Tony Parker, yeah, remember what he did, not remember what he's doing. All right. And like I said, I don't understand it. Like, I'm assuming Tony Parker's going to be coming off the bench, and I'm assuming that this move means that the Hornets are going to actively try to make the playoffs this season. Okay. And like I said, that's all great and all, but what good, like, I don't understand what the plan is here. You're not, with the team you have, winning a title or competing for one anytime soon. Okay, Tony Parker does not put you over the edge. And we tend to see bad signings and just all around bad front office stuff when Michael Jordan's around. Okay, he's a terrible front office person. Great player, just not a great front office person. And I think bringing in a guy like Tony Parker, like I said, whether that's Mitch Kupchak or Michael Jordan, is a mistake. All right, because Tony Parker's not going to put you over the edge. Tony Parker's not going to make a difference on your team. Okay, he's just not a difference maker anymore. But nonetheless, I guess their goal is to make the playoffs, and I mean, that's all they'll be doing is just making the playoffs if they do get in. Okay, looking at looking at it right now, let's see. Who made the playoffs last season in the East? We had the Cavs, the Celtics, Raptors, Sixers, Pacers, Heat, Bucks, and Wizards. Okay. The Cavs are going to be falling out. They won't be making the playoffs this season. But I do think that the remaining teams that were in there will make it. I don't think Brooklyn has a shot at making the playoffs. I don't think the Knicks have a shot at making the playoffs. Bulls, Magic, Hawks, or anyone else for that matter. So I guess that extra spot would come down to whether or not Detroit or Charlotte could swoop it up. Alright. And the way I'm looking at it, Detroit, they have Blake Griffin. They have Andre Drummond. They got Reggie Jackson. They got Dwayne Casey. Okay. Detroit is in a much better position right now to make the playoffs than the Charlotte Hornets. Okay. And that's just the way it is right now. And like I said, I mean, if Charlotte makes that 8th or 7th seed somehow, they're just going to lose in 5 games or get swept. Alright, so the whole bringing in Tony Parker, I don't get it. Maybe it's a move to help out the younger guys, I guess. Maybe Tony Parker fills that kind of mentor role. But like I said, I mean, bringing on Tony Parker makes no sense. They should have been rebuilding, okay? I was almost positive that Kemba was going to get traded this offseason. I thought that was a smart move, but obviously out in Charlotte, they aren't necessarily making the smart moves. All right. But like I said, I have no clue about that move. I don't understand it. It seems that they're trying to make the playoffs. Okay, what good is making the playoffs if you know you're going to lose in that first round? Unless maybe Mitch Kupchak and Michael Jordan have something else up their sleeve where they're going to bring maybe... I mean, who knows? Maybe the Hornets trade? No, that would never happen. You don't bring on Tony Parker and trade for Kawhi Leonard. And speaking of that, I mean, now that Tony Parker is with the Hornets, is Kawhi Leonard for sure going to be leaving the Spurs? Because, I mean, I feel like a lot of this got started with Tony Parker's comments saying that he had the same injury as Kawhi, but 100 times worse. And I guess that's supposedly what set Kawhi off and why he doesn't want to be in San Antonio anymore. Well, Tony Parker's not there. Okay. Does this mean Kawhi wants to stay? I wouldn't be surprised. And, I mean, fact of the matter is, nobody's going to give up what the Spurs want for Kawhi. Okay? It's been reported the Celtics have taken their top 5 players off the table. I'm assuming that's Hayward, Kyrie, Tatum, Brown, Horford. Okay. The Lakers, I think they've completely moved on from Kawhi. I mean, it's hard to do business with the Spurs when they're asking for Josh Hart, Ingram, Kuzma, and 2 first-round picks. Philly doesn't want to give up Fultz. And the only way I see Kawhi getting moved is to some random team who... like a Charlotte team. All right, obviously that's not going to happen, but a team like Charlotte. Team who really has no sense of direction, but they try to make a move like this to move in the right direction. Kind of like with Detroit last year trading for Blake Griffin. I don't think anyone was expecting Blake Griffin to get traded, but even if he was getting traded, I highly doubt anyone thought it'd be the Pistons. Okay. That traded for him. So it's going to end up being something like that if Kawhi does end up getting moved. But I wouldn't... I don't know. There's a lot more we could talk about Kawhi, okay? Because, I mean, there was reports coming out yesterday that his camp would hide him from the Spurs when they'd come to try and talk during his little rehab in New York. All right? And that's the ultimate... like, Kawhi's a diva. Kawhi's the biggest diva in the NBA right now. All right? And he hasn't said a word. It's honestly ridiculous and annoying, honestly. All right. But nonetheless, there's that. And like I said, getting back to Melo. I mean, we saw him last season with the Thunder. He was hot garbage, for putting it nicely. Okay? Absolutely terrible. Nothing good about him. Just collecting his paycheck, moving on with his life. Okay? And it seems that the Thunder realized that and are ready to move on from him. So, Carmelo Anthony is going to be a free agent. where does he end up? Okay. Carmelo Anthony is about, 33 years old? Okay. Maybe a little bit older. Let's check actually how old Carmelo Anthony is. Let's see. He is 34 years old. Alright. Let's see. Is he just 34 or will he be turning 35 during the season? He is 34 throughout this season. Okay. So he's 34. He got drafted in 2003. The same draft as LeBron, Darko, Wade, Bosh. Alright. Let me see exactly how many players are out of the league there too, because this is all going to make sense. So let's see. Darko's out the league. Bosh is out the league. Dwayne Wade is on his way out the league. Kirk Heinrich is out the league. Michael Petrus is out the league. Okay. David West hitting the end of his career. Dante Jones is out the league. Boris Diaw is out the league. Kendrick Perkins is basically out the league. Leandro Barbosa. Alright. Luke Wallen's now coaching. Steve Blake is out the league. Zaza's still doing it. Alright. Keith Bogans is out the league, I believe. Matt Bonner's out. Mo Williams is done. James Jones is done. Korver's still hanging in there barely. So, the point I'm trying to make here is a lot of the dudes from the 2003 draft are done, out the league, and a lot of the guys are on the end part of their career. I think Carmelo, I don't think we've realized just how old Carmelo is, and the fact that he's playing so poorly, I think it's just due to age. I think Carmelo's hitting the end of his career. Alright. Like I said, the only one from that draft class who's still playing as good as they were in their prime is LeBron. Okay? Other than LeBron, no one else is a top player at their position. No one's a top 5 player at their position. Meaning right now at this point in time. Okay? Amongst the guys in the league. So I think with Carmelo, it's just a matter of the dude's getting old and he's losing his skill. And as far as where he could end up, I've seen Houston, I've seen LA. And I think those are the two biggest ones right there. Miami is also an option, I guess. But if I'm LA, I don't want Melo. And if I'm Houston, maybe you do, but it's not going to work out, I don't think. Actually, it could, considering the offense they run. So I guess Houston would be a solid option for Melo. But like I said, I just think the dude is on the back end of his career. And it's just a matter of he's getting old, and that's why his play is deteriorating. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about today's World Cup matches. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Alright, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We spent that first segment talking a lot about Tony Parker and a little bit about Carmelo Anthony. Alright, I don't understand what the Charlotte Hornets are doing right now. I don't understand what their direction is. I'm sure the fans are maybe excited that they brought in a guy like Tony Parker because they're probably expecting that means that they're going to be trying to make the playoffs. Why on earth would you want to make the playoffs if you're the Charlotte Hornets? Honestly, your team is terrible. Alright, they're awful. Hot garbage. You make the playoffs, you're going to get bounced immediately round one. There is no building from this. What you have right now is the team you're going to have for the future. Meaning, they're not going to get any better. Okay? I'm sorry for whatever you're getting from Nick Batum is what you're going to be getting. Alright. Actually, let's take a look at the Hornets roster last season and see if there's really anyone who could elevate themselves and take this team going forward. Alright. That would be much better. So let's look at it. Nicholas Batum. He was on your roster last season. What do you think he's going to elevate his play? Nicholas Batum is Nicholas Batum. Okay? Michael Kidd-Gilchrist has been in the league for a while. I don't think he's going to be getting any better. Alright? Marvin Williams. Dude's already had 12 years in the league. Okay? You think you're going to be going forward with Marvin Williams? Yeah, you got Kemba. Alright? But with Kemba, I mean, what exactly has the Hornets done? Not much. Man, you got Malik Monk. Maybe he could be a star. He was playing well towards the end of last year. Okay? Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they added a guy like Miles Bridges this season. Alright. But, this offseason, but nonetheless, like I said, I don't understand it. Then you got Melo. I mean, Melo's just old. He's not that good anymore. Okay? Talked about the 2003 NBA draft. There's only one player in that draft class that's one of the best at his position currently. Okay, meaning amongst his peers right now, and that's LeBron. Dwayne Wade's getting old at the back end of his career. Okay? And a lot of the other guys are just out the league. Alright? So there's no shame in Melo playing poorly. It's just accept that you're old and you don't got it anymore. That's fine. Alright, because like I said, majority of those guys are now out the league, and a lot of them are on the back end of their careers. Alright. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But nonetheless, talking about the World Cup, I had two good matches on today. Well, I mean, on paper, they seem like they were going to be good matches. We had France-Uruguay, Brazil-Belgium. Brazil-Belgium obviously was the best match of the day. France-Uruguay was one where, I mean, it basically went the way you expected it to, except, I mean, it's just Uruguay couldn't score. Alright? You got Varane scoring in the first half in the 40th minute off of a header. Good goal. 1-0. Okay? And I think the problem here was that Luis Suarez couldn't get anything going. Not just today, this entire tournament. Alright? I don't even think he had a shot today. That's a problem. Luis Suarez has had a real down year so far this season. Okay? As far as his year in La Liga with Barca and this tournament with Uruguay. Alright? I expected Uruguay to go to the final and win it. I'm not afraid to admit that. I was wrong. Okay? But I mean, if not for a goalkeeping error from Fernando Muslera, it's 1-0. I expected the game to go that way, 1-0. Well, not 1-0. I expected maybe France to get one, but I was really banking on the fact that Suarez would be able to get a couple, just the way Uruguay have been playing all tournament. Okay? The Uruguay defend. Suarez, Cavani, go get us our goals. All right? And I thought that's what was going to happen today. Obviously, like I said, I was wrong about that. Okay? Because, I mean, if Cavani plays, maybe it's a difference. But without him, like I said, Suarez was basically useless. Okay? I mean, Uruguay just weren't great at all. I mean, they took 11 shots today, same amount as France. France only had 2 on target. Uruguay had 4, but of course, France did well to convert their chances. All right. France dominated the possession, as you'd expect. Same amount of possession in the first half compared to the second half. And it's just one where, like I said, Suarez was just really disappointing. Okay? Normally, you'd think that Cavani would be the disappointing one. But definitely here, Suarez didn't really do much at all. Alright. And, I mean, he had what, 2 goals in this tournament? I think he had, when did he score his goals? All right, was it against? I think he got one against Russia, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he got one against Russia. Did he get one against? Let's see. He got one against Russia, and did he get one against Saudi Arabia? I can't remember exactly. Either Saudi Arabia or Egypt, I believe. So yeah, he got one against Saudi Arabia. So that's where his 2 goals came from. Obviously, Cavani got 2 goals against Portugal, and then he had one against Russia also. All right. But, I mean, what can you do if you're Uruguay? Okay, Cavani pulls his calf muscle in the match against Portugal, and, I mean, there's nothing you can do there. Okay? And as for France, they're taking care of business here. Playing well, and they deserve to make it this far. All right. They deserve to be in the semis. They really elevated their play once they got out of the group. I'm not sure what it took, but nonetheless, this is not the same team I saw in the group stage. This is a team that could go out and win the whole tournament, which they do have a decent chance now that they are in the semis. Okay? So now that they're in the semis, they had to wait for the match after them to just see who they would be playing. All right. Turns out it's going to be France-Belgium in the semifinals. All right. Today, Belgium obviously took on Brazil. Belgium coming out victorious 2-1. Own goal from Fernandinho, which made it 1-0 Belgium in the first half. Then De Bruyne scores a rocket in the 31st off of a nice little assist from Romelu Lukaku, who had a nice little run before that play, or on that play, building it up. So that made it 2-0. Second half comes, Renato Augusto scores in the 76th minute. Neymar and also Augusto, who had decent chances towards the end of the game to tie it up, but couldn't put it in the back of the net. Okay. Courtois made an amazing save on a Neymar shot in this match at the end of the match, too. All right. Easily would have been going in, but nonetheless, he did well to keep it out. Okay. And taking an extra look at the save right now, I mean, ball had movement, bend, dip, everything. I'm not sure how Courtois makes this save. All right. I mean, yeah, it's going in. You think as soon as it leaves Neymar's foot, you see it traveling, that's a goal. But of course, Courtois keeps it out. And I think that Brazil waited too long. In the first half, they didn't look good at all. Okay? I mean, yeah, they had their shots and all, but it just seems that there was something off about them. Second half, I mean, they took 17 shots and were pretty much on the attack the entire time. They waited last minute to get back into this match. Okay? Of course, Belgium's defense and Courtois did well. But like I said, Brazil didn't really do much in the first half. And second half, I mean, if you're going to wait till then to get your chances, normally you're going to stink. All right, and that's just what ended up happening here. All right, so Brazil knocked out of the tournament in the quarterfinals. Last time they won the tournament, I believe, was back in, 2002? Okay. Since then, it's been, I think their best finish was in the semifinals against Germany last World Cup, I should say. The 7-1 loss that Brazil, I guess, is still trying to avenge. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, let's look back at their past World Cups. So obviously, like I said, they won it back in 2002. All right, they beat Germany in 2002, actually. 2006, they get knocked out in the quarterfinals by France. Okay, 2010, quarterfinals by the Netherlands. 2014, they lose in the semifinals to Germany, end up finishing fourth in the tournament. And then here they lose to Belgium in the quarterfinals. Okay. So since 2002, they've only made the semis once. All right. And, I mean, I'm curious to see how old this Brazil team is right now. Okay. How many more World Cups does this current generation have? You got Neymar. He's 26. He's got one more. Firmino's got one more. Gabriel Jesus has got one more. At least he's got a couple more. Gabriel Jesus is only 21. This was probably Willian's last. He's already 29. Coutinho's 26, so the next one will probably be his last. Same with Casemiro. Douglas Costa, I'd be surprised if he makes the squad next. Paulinho, he's 29, so he's done. Fred's 25, so he'll be coming into it. He'll be in his prime once the next World Cup comes around. Fernandinho's done. He's 33. Tyson's done. He's 30. Augusto's done. He's 30. Marcelo, maybe. He's 30 right now, so that'd be a tough one. Marquinhos is only 24, so he'll be back. Same with Danilo, he's 26. Thiago Silva, this was his last World Cup. João Miranda, his last World Cup, I'm assuming. Same with Felipe Luis, Pedro Carmelo, and probably Fagner. Those guys will all be 33 plus. All right. That's for the keepers. They're fine there. Okay. So obviously, you got a lot of great players coming back, most likely for the next World Cup. But of course, you're going to have to replace a lot of the defense, if not the entire defense. All right. So we'll see what they end up doing. But nonetheless, I mean, Brazil disappointed. Belgium, taking care of business. They got a team that should be in the semifinals. I said before the tournament that Belgium doesn't make the semis, then it's an unsuccessful tournament. I think anything after this is a plus for Belgium. I think they've reached the goal or the stage that I think they needed to in order to justify the team that they got. Okay? Obviously, you got to play a France team that I'd say is better as far as all-around quality. But nonetheless, Belgium do have a chance, all right? So now we just wait for tomorrow's matches between England and Sweden, Croatia and Russia. I'm hoping Croatia and England make it out just so we get the best teams in the Final Four, the semis, okay? And I think that this World Cup has kind of gotten lucky given the fact that you've had your Brazils out, your Germanys out, your Argentinas out, a lot of the top teams, but you still do have the Englands, you still do have the Croatias, you still do have the Frances, and you still do have the Belgiums, all right? Enough to keep interest amongst the casual fans, okay? Because obviously you're going to need some top teams in the final stage of your World Cup. So we'll see how it all goes down. Like I said, I got England and Croatia winning tomorrow, so we'll see if I get those right. I mean, today I was 1 for 2. I picked... Actually, I don't know. I can't remember if I switched to Brazil, but originally I had Belgium. So like I said, I can't remember if I switched, but nonetheless, I did pick Uruguay, and that was wrong. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about some teams in the NFL whose offseason that I've liked. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far, we've talked about some NBA news. Melo's going to be getting bought out. Congratulations to Oklahoma City. I may actually like their team a lot more, okay? And I'm not a Melo hater. It's just Melo stinks right now, okay? Melo's terrible. Melo's old. He's washed up, all right? And he's just not going to do anything good for a team, okay? Now, Oklahoma City, maybe they're a little bit better without Melo. It's a possibility. Okay, Tony Parker's out going to Charlotte. I have no clue what they're doing. All right. But nonetheless, Tony Parker's playing for the Charlotte Hornets now. And then for the second segment, we talked about the World Cup. I mean, it's been one of the best tournaments of all time, and it's slowly coming to an end. Okay. I mean, I'm not ready for this at all. What am I supposed to do when the World Cup's done? All right. I mean, it's been great game after great game, and eventually it's all going to be gone. All right, but at least by the time World Cup's done, I think we should. Okay. We should be nearing, at least close to training camp at the NFL. All right. We'll be close. So, final for the World Cup is July 15th. I think training camp 2 weeks after that. All right. We're nearly there. Nearly. And if not, I think it starts, does it start earlier, training camp? Let me see when training camps actually start for NFL teams. Okay. Because we need to stay on top of all of this. Let's see, when do NFL training camps start? 2018, 19 NFL, important NFL dates. All right, I didn't know the NFL had this section. So let's see. July 16th is the deadline for any team that franchised the player. All right, so I'm assuming Le'Veon Bell by that time has to sign whatever thing they offered him. Okay, let's see. Mid-July, clubs are permitted to open preseason training camp for rookies 7 days before the mandatory date. Okay. And let's see, July 23rd. Nothing notable there. So yeah, basically, training camp starts the end of July. Okay. So for that 2 weeks after the World Cup is over, we will be huge baseball fans, I'm assuming. Okay. I mean, we got Summer League to talk about, too. I was able to go out to Sacramento on Thursday and check out some of the Summer League games there. Ended up checking out. Actually, you know what? Let's save my Summer League experience in Sacramento for the fourth segment. Now, let's continue on with the NFL, all right? So, like I said, we got training camps going on the end of July. And one team's little camp that's going to be pretty interesting to follow is Baltimore's. Okay. So we got the Bears and Ravens for the Hall of Fame game on August 2nd. Do you know what that means? Okay, that means we get to watch RG3 and Lamar Jackson. All right, for large periods of time during that game. We're going to see what Lamar Jackson can do. And let me tell you this, okay? Whether Lamar Jackson throws for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns or 55 yards and 2 interceptions, it all means nothing. All right? I'm just putting that out there. See, it's for both. If he plays well, it means nothing. If he plays poorly, it means nothing. We don't grade a guy on his first game. Okay? Especially the Hall of Fame game. As much as we love it, we only like it because it's just the start of football. Okay? Because in itself, the game is garbage. All right? Easily the worst preseason game of the preseason schedule. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, I bring up the Ravens because, like I said, we're going to talk about teams whose offseason I like the Ravens offseason. All right. John Harbaugh was smart here. You draft Hayden Hurst, maybe the next Todd Heap. Maybe could be a Dennis Pitta type of player for you. All right. And you draft Lamar Jackson. Okay. Joe Flacco, last 3 years, has been, to put it nicely, bad. Okay. It really has been. And obviously you had the Ravens owner talking about how it did cross his mind as to whether or not he wanted to fire John Harbaugh at the end of the season because they missed out on the playoffs for what I think is the 3rd straight year. But of course decided, no, I'm not going to do that. All right. And when a owner is thinking about firing you, at least it crosses his mind, that means the next year you're on the hot seat. All right. And as a coach, there's ways to combat that. Harbaugh decided to combat that by drafting a quarterback in the 1st round. Okay? And by doing that, you save yourself a couple of years, okay? Because by John Harbaugh drafting Lamar Jackson, you're telling the owner, hey, the guy we got at quarterback right now, yeah, he got us a Super Bowl and all, but he just doesn't got it anymore, okay? So let me develop the guy we got. Next season, I'll throw him out there, and I'll show you that we made the right decision here and that we're going to be a good team in the near future. Okay? It's genius, honestly, for head coaches to do that. And one coach I'm kind of surprised didn't is Adam Gase. Because I think Adam Gase is basically putting his job on the line, and the only person that could save it is Ryan Tannehill. All right. Because, Gase is coming into his third year as a head coach. He made the playoffs his first. Second year, they were terrible. This year, the third year is usually the year where if you're the owner, you want to see, all right, are we heading in a certain direction? Do I like the direction this team is heading in? Do I want to bring this head coach back for the near future? All right. And with Gase not bringing in a QB, he's saying, this is my team. We fail, it's because of me. Okay, he's happy with what he's got. So that's why it's a bit risky for him. But for Harbaugh's got at least 2 years guaranteed with the Ravens. All right. As he should. John Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in this league. All right. But nonetheless, now you pretty much get a throwaway year with Joe Flacco. Okay. And I think the Ravens are probably, I'd say that John Harbaugh's job is even more secure if Flacco starts out the year, okay, playing terrible, and they just got to bench him. I think that is what saves Harbaugh's job even more. I think if they were to play well and they just miss out on the playoffs because of some mistakes and all, and Flacco has a decent year, that's going to be tough for Harbaugh, considering the fact Flacco isn't as bad as everyone thought, and they should have probably made the playoffs in this hypothetical situation. Okay. And, as far as the Ravens go, I'm not really expecting too much from them. Okay, if they were to get in the playoffs, they'd be a scary team. But nonetheless, the Ravens during the regular season, they're not really intimidating. All right, and it's crazy how some of those teams have that ability to just turn it on once the playoffs get here. Okay. You'd think maybe the Steelers could be a team like that, but it's more so they're dominant during the regular season. Once they get to the playoffs, it's like a flip switches. They just don't. I don't know with Steelers, okay? They should have multiple Super Bowls under Mike Tomlin. All right. But nonetheless, yeah, talking about the Ravens, I think Lamar Jackson's going to be a very good quarterback. All right, and even then, there's no guarantee that he even starts next season. Let's say Flacco stinks it up this season, he gets cut, all right, after the year. You're probably going to have a QB competition between RG3 and Lamar Jackson. All right. And let's not act like RG3 was some scrub who's now just a journeyman backup quarterback. RG3 was a very good quarterback when he was drafted. It's just a matter of injuries took over his career. All right. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this all plays out. I don't expect to see Lamar Jackson on the field for Baltimore at all this season, except for obviously the preseason. But as far as the regular season goes, I highly doubt we see him. Maybe they run some read option things with him, but I don't really see too many instances where the Ravens keep 3 quarterbacks active on a game day. Okay? I just don't really see that happening. Maybe you do, considering the fact that, let's say you got to go to RG3, he's very injury prone, so there's always that chance that maybe there's a possibility he gets hurt, and you got to go with Lamar Jackson, but like I said, more times than not, I highly doubt they'll be playing with 3 quarterbacks active on a single game day. All right. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what direction the Ravens take. Okay. Are they, because right now they're kind of like in a little in-between type of stage. They're not bad, but they're not good. Okay, a move here, a move there, they could be really good. A move here and a move there, and they could be really bad. That's kind of the stage that the Seahawks are kind of heading into. I think after this season, they'll be in that stage where they're not great, they're not bad. All right, just need to make a couple of moves to put them in a certain direction. So we'll see what ends up happening, but nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. All right, we've talked NBA free agency, we've talked World Cup, and we've talked NFL. Let's take a look at yesterday's MLB scores, see where we're at. All right, see how the teams around the league did. Okay. Going back to Thursday. All right. So let's see. We had the Nationals beating the Marlins 14-12. Real high scoring game there. All right. The Rangers beat the Tigers 7-5. We had the Brewers beating the Braves 7-2. The Twins beating the Orioles 5-2. Astros beating the White Sox 4-3. Padres beating the Diamondbacks 6-3. The Mariners beating the Angels 4-1. Mariners playing real good baseball, all right? People were trying to see what they look like with Robinson Cano out for that extended period of time since he's suspended. Mariners haven't really missed a beat here, all right? So like I said, they beat the Angels 4-1. They're now 56-32. Currently still chasing the Astros for that number one spot in the AL West. Okay, then we had the Cardinals beating up on the Giants 11-2. I mean, the Giants had no chance yesterday. I mean, the Cardinals put up 18 hits, all right, compared to the Giants 2. So that's how it went yesterday. Let's take a look at these MLB standings once again just to give an update. All right, so nothing changes in the AL East. We got the Red Sox up a game up on the Yankees there. We got the Indians currently up 11.5 on the White Sox, I believe, if I'm not mistaken here. All right, then we got the Astros in first, the Braves still in first, Brewers are in first, and then the Diamondbacks tied with the Dodgers for first right now. All right. Nonetheless, that's what it's looking like in the MLB right now. Let's see what's going on in the tennis world right now. We got Wimbledon going on. I believe Federer had a match today. He ended up winning in straight sets. All right, John Isner won today. And I think Federer is the only notable name going on today, if I am positive. Let's see if we have Serena Williams or any of the Williams sisters playing today on the women's side. Okay. Don't believe we do. All right, actually, Venus Williams ended up losing, so she failed to advance to the fourth round of Wimbledon. All right, and is Venus, like, how good is Venus Williams? Okay, because I'm not like a tennis expert by any means, but I feel that she's always been kind of chasing Serena Williams, or just maybe she hasn't been as good as Serena Williams. Okay. Let me see. She's currently ranked 9th in the WTA singles rankings. She is an all-time great. Like I said, I mean, to be considered an all-time great and just that much behind Serena Williams, I mean, Serena Williams has to be probably the greatest tennis player of all time, man or woman, right? I mean, it's a bit ridiculous, but nonetheless, she's out. Okay. Let's see what else is currently going on in the world of sports before I get into my Summer League talk from yesterday. I don't think there's much else going on right now. All right, as far as the NFL, we finally got some good news. Marquise Goodwin bought his mom and sister a house. Okay. Leonard Fournette paid the tuition of an LSU student. And let's see, anything else? Eli Manning's Super Bowl 47 helmet is up for auction if you guys want to buy that. That's pretty much all that's going on. It's always good to see Fournette paying for someone's tuition and Goodwin buying his mom and sister a house rather than dudes getting suspended, like how the news has been the last couple of days in the NFL. But nonetheless, I think that's pretty much all that's going on right now. Of course, we got some World Cup matches tomorrow, but so let me tell you about Summer League. Yesterday, I ended up going to the Golden One Center, the Kings home arena, to watch some Summer League matchups. All right, saw the Lakers and Warriors earlier in the day, and then after that, we had the Kings and Heat. Let me tell you something about Mo Wagner. All right, the Lakers draft pick. He should be the second center on their team, meaning he should be rolling with the second unit. I think he's definitely going to be a great player for them. All right, I'd say that he was probably one of the three best players from that day, if not the best. All right. I mean, against the Warriors Summer League team yesterday, The Warriors team ended up winning, but nonetheless, it doesn't really matter about wins or losses. You're just more so looking to see how this guy does, how that guy does. All right. Mo Wagner was easily the best player on that court for that game. Okay, no one really came close to him. Maybe I like his one of the things I really picked up on about him is his rim protecting. All right, had 3 blocks I think in their game yesterday against the Warriors, possibly 4. All right, plays well with his back to the basket, can shoot the 3 ball, moves around pretty well for a big man. I mean, he's pretty much got all the tools that you want. All right. Another thing too that I noticed yesterday was that even though it's summer league, you got the guy diving around for loose balls and pretty much playing as if it's the last game of his career. So I think with the Lakers, I mean, a second unit of Lonzo, Lance, Kuzma. Let's see, who else am I missing from the Lakers? It'd probably be like maybe Lonzo, Hart, Lance, Kuzma, and Wagner. That'd be a solid little second unit. I think I am missing a couple of other players from their second unit, but nonetheless, that's kind of what I could see for them. All right, I really do think Wagner is going to be that good for the Lakers. All right. As for the Warriors, I mean, it's pretty much the Santa Cruz Warriors there. There's no guys on that team that are really going to make the team. Okay, the actual team for the Warriors. But nonetheless, like I said, Wagner played well in that first game. And then for the second game, I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. dunked on poor Harry Giles about 3 different occasions in that game. Had about 5 highlight reel dunks. The only thing with Derrick Jones Jr., if you don't remember, like he is the guy who was in the dunk contest 2 years ago for the Suns. That dude has absolutely no jump shot. Okay? If he could develop a jump shot, then the guy would be a regular player for the Heat. Alright. He's got the explosiveness. Go up and get rebounds. Alright. He's got the length. It's just he can't shoot the ball. He shoots the ball, he's going to be a very good player. Alright. He's still young too, so I mean, it's not like this is the thing where he's got to get it done this season. Alright. Let me see. How old is Derrick Jones Jr.? So I know, like I said, 2 years ago we did see him in the dunk contest. He's 24, so yeah, he still has time. I'd say by about maybe 25, 26 is where you want to see some progress on that jump shot. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, the best 2 players in that matchup were probably Bam Adebayo and Justin Jackson. Bam Adebayo, I think, had a triple-double, or not a triple-double, a double-double. All right. And Justin Jackson had a near 30 spot. No rebounds, no assists or anything like that, but he was shooting the lights out from the ball. All right. Actually, that reminds me. Kings as a team yesterday hit 10 threes. That gives you a free coupon to Chick-fil-A in the Sacramento area. I definitely will be cashing that out. But nonetheless, like I said, yeah, Justin Jackson was doing well to shoot. First game, he didn't really do too much. Second game, he played well. And this game, I mean, he was lights out. As for Bam Adebayo, it's basically a grown man playing against children. Okay, he couldn't be stopped. Dude's massive. Getting boards, blocking shots, dunking the ball. I mean, everything you want. Last season, I was yelling for the Heat to trade Hassan Whiteside and make Bam the starter. I think that's still what they should do this season. Right? Bam Adebayo definitely going to be a great player for the Heat. But nonetheless, I mean, oh yeah, Marvin Bagley, watched him yesterday. Dude got nothing going at all. Barely got the ball. Even when he did have it, didn't necessarily look like he had a plan. All right, and struggled. That doesn't mean he's a bad player. Okay, I know Kings fans were really torn on him or Doncic. A lot of them did want Doncic, but nonetheless, yeah, yesterday, Bagley wasn't really too involved, didn't really look great. Harry Giles looked a bit off yesterday too, and Frank Mason he kept front rimming every shot he took. All right. So, I mean, some of the Kings players got a lot to work on still. As for the Heat, Derrick Jones Jr. just needs a jump shot. Bam Adebayo, start the guy already. All right. So, that was my little summer league experience yesterday. Like I said, probably best 3 players from yesterday were Bam, Mo Wagner, and Justin Jackson. I'd say for my top 5, it'd probably be Derrick Jones Jr. and that's it right there. As far as the notables. Okay. So, we're going to wrap it up here. Today we talked World Cup matches. Brazil losing to Belgium. France beating Uruguay. So, we got Belgium, France in the semifinals. First segment, we talked about Melo and Tony Parker. Third segment, we talked about some NFL stuff. And then for the fourth segment, we talked about anything else going on in the world of sports and also talked about some of the Summer League games yesterday, all right? So thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back on Monday. So stay tuned, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.